I'm Grace Dawes. We're here at Move 2025 and I'm joined by Kunaal Mahanti, who is the CTO of Mobility at GlobalLogic. Thank you so much for joining me today. How's your Move experience been so far?
It's been good. If you come to think of it, all the things from the first opening keynote which we had from the minister about UK leading the way in mobility, specifically electrification and autonomous, is pretty inspiring because this is something which the industry has been trying to get to for decades. Also looking around the booths, new battery technologies coming up, new autonomous technologies coming up, OEMs talking about that, trucking and commercial logistics wanting to embody some of these things is pretty good. And it's inspiring to folks like us who actually are been at this for some time.
Great, well maybe you could tell us a bit about GlobalLogic and where it fits in the mobility ecosystem.
Yeah. So GlobalLogic is a Hitachi Group company. We focus predominantly on software product development and on digital engineering. And we're good at three things. We're good at strategic design, which is brought to us by one of our group companies called Method. And these are the thinkers of the room. They think up, dream up things in terms of use cases, in terms of business. Then we are good at engineering. We do full stack engineering, which includes working from the chip all the way to the cloud and the software in between. We do a lot of work around AI. We have enabled some large AI companies in the past on their own technologies. But when it comes to mobility, very specifically, we are focused on working with OEMs, tier ones, on software-defined vehicles, and on the ecosystem around the car, which includes dealerships, which includes finance, service, and fleets. So we find, and then what we're talking about here is more relevant, I guess, to the fleet side of what we do. But that, in a nutshell, is what GlobalLogic does, and we leverage the power of Hitachi to bring some of these to bear.
Amazing, great. And how do you think that AI is transforming the way fleet operations are managed today?
And it's interesting because one of the challenges of fleets is uptime.
Yeah.
And one of the challenges of making sure uptime is high is to make sure that repairs either don't happen, or if they happen quickly. Yeah. So there are three things that we do in this space, which I think is interesting across the board as we see what other people are doing. One is to be able to do guided repair. So when a vehicle comes in for maintenance, we make sure that the people that are repairing the vehicle have, AI-assisted knowledge of what they should be repairing. And what we do is we look at, the repair history, we look at the data coming in from the vehicle and give the technician, three ideas. Look at these three, see if this fixes the problem. And we get about 85%, first time right rate of that repair. So that's on repairing, but then you want to avoid repairs. Yeah. So we look at predictive maintenance. And then that's looking at the vehicle history, that's looking at the information that is coming from the telemetric systems, and then being able to, based on certain fault codes that we see, be able to predict what could be the next failure, when should it happen, and what could be the remedy to it. For example, the fan belt needs to be replaced because, we are seeing something around that. So I think AI is helping us with that. And as we move into electrification and fleet management, I think there's another slew of solutions which becomes important in terms of being able to optimize things around that. So I think AI, both in terms of generative AI as well as traditional AI models, are really helping in making sure that the fleet's uptime is high and the cost of repairs are low.
So just going back to what you were saying about electrification, what do you think are the biggest challenges in managing fleet charging?
There are two sides of this equation, especially if you look at from last mile, long haul, and you try to differentiate between how fleets are operating. On one side, the fleet operators want to make sure that the vehicles are moving efficiently and delivering things, which is a daytime activity, but charging is a nighttime activity. because that's when you're looking at prices and you're maybe thinking of buying energy in advance at the depots. So it's a co-optimization problem because you have to be able to charge during the daytime. You don't want to charge too much, but you want to be able to move your fleets. So again, using AI, we look at this whole problem of making sure that, well, we want to do electrification, we want to be able to buy energy in advance, but we don't want to do a lot of charging so that we become inefficient in our delivery. Either we're wasting time or wasting electricity. So this is a balance which I think techniques in AI today are helping solve. For example, at GlobalLogic and Hitachi, we've got about 400 different AI models working behind the scenes to help both fleet companies as well as their customers optimize for these two challenges. So I think that's kind of unique, because in the diesel world it's not there, because diesel prices don't fluctuate that much, and filling in diesel is not that big of a time loss. Whereas in this, it becomes a very complex problem to solve for. I think that's the challenge of electric charging today. And for GlobalLogic and for Hitachi, because we also do, energy is a big part of our business. These are the problems that we solve around both charging availability, and also battery management. I think those are the challenges which we typically look at solving for our customers.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to me today. And I really hope that GlobalLogic and yourself enjoy the rest of the time here at Move.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.